Good morning from Texas.
And grab your cup of coffee. Chad and Kim, Coffee Klatch.
Welcome to this beautiful Monday morning. Ooh, it's freezing down here in Soggy Bottom. Ooh, it got down to 65 last night.
It's like 50 something.
Oh my gosh. And we didn't even hear a single weather warning.
We
With
didn't.
it dropping down to 50.
Nothing warning us to cover our plants or anything.
Yeah. They must be slipping.
Right.
Okay. Kim has a wonderful, happy, show for us today. So, Kim, why don't you start us off and tell us all the heartwarming stuff you want to talk about today?
Okay, so yesterday on YouTube, I was watching this 14-hour-long marathon, season 2, of World's Most Evil or Evil Criminal, something to that effect. And they're talking about serial killers. Or even just one-time murderers that were just evil and
Icky.
awful.
Icky and poopy.
Mm-hmm. Now, I would agree with you, or them, that, okay, Ted Bundy, evil. Rodney Alcala,
Now, what did Rodney do?
he was the dating game killer.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker.
Oh, he was spooky.
Yeah. But then they came on Ed Kemper, and they said Ed Kemper is the definition of evil. If there's anybody out there evil, it's Ed Kemper.
Gotta give the eyebrow. Okay.
And so that struck me. I'm like, okay, Ed Kemper, the way he killed those hitchhikers was evil. I mean, it was awful, horrible. The way that he killed his grandparents just to kill them, yes.
As opposed to a positive way to kill people?
No, I mean, he would kill them and then dismember them, and
So all the really terrible things he did was post-mortem.
right.
So they didn't suffer, they just went,
Yeah, I mean,
And
he didn't rape them before he killed them.
no terror.
Sorry, YouTube, I shouldn't have used that word. I should have said he did an R word. That was after they were dead. His final killings were his mother, who was basically the impetus of his killing, his evil. And he really thought once he killed her, his killing urges would go away. That didn't necessarily happen.
That's like with me and my mother when she made her banana bread. I said, her banana bread or her,
Large muffins.
and I'd go, I just have one of these and then it'll go away after I have one of her muffins. I'll never want another one again. No, it's just the opposite.
Yeah. So, Ed Kemper was a man of advanced intelligence. He was a very intelligent person. But after I listened to this thing, I was like, I came out and I told Chad, I said, he was evil. He was able to throw people off his trail. Heck, he hung out at the Jury Box bar across from the courthouse in Santa Cruz, California, and would hang out with the cops, and they loved him. They called him Big Ed. I think part of the reason I thought, he's not really evil is they're judging him because he's abnormally tall. He was 6'9". For a female, I'm not abnormally tall, but I am tall. I'm 5'9". So I think I was feeling for him because of the way his mother treated him, his grandparents treated him, his father treated him, versus what he did. He killed his grandparents when he was like 11, maybe 11. And he did it just to feel what it would be like to shoot them. He was sent away to a state mental hospital. The records were sealed. Yes, what are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?
Okay. You're a giving, kind person deep in your heart, and you try to emphasize the positive in life. Mm-hmm. That's you, and I get that. Oh, the way he killed, and this and that, and I just hope people out there are going, we need to call somebody.
No, I'm not going to kill anybody. If I was going to kill anybody, I probably would have killed my husband a long time ago.
Well,
I've never had the thought. I've never had the thought.
You've never had the thought? Thank you.
I love you.
But when we're laying there and the go to sleep shows, as you call it, and you pop on what are they called?
Oh, my go to sleep show?
Yeah, your go to sleep show. Your comfy dreamland show.
Forensic Files.
Forensic Files, yeah. And I guess this is a normal thing for women. It's just interesting. I mean, it's terribly interesting. It's terribly horrible. And people shave off the horrible so they can dig into it a little more, and then they shave off a little more bad, and they get into it as a puzzle. So if you like puzzles, you usually like things like this.
And I like puzzles.
You do. You're a very big puzzle person. Never play her Trivial Pursuit. She'll whoop the snot at you. But, okay, now, from my point of view, where I've been out there as a military police officer and, Department of Corrections, and you run into these people, and you just go, oh my God. The vibe you get off them, and and you read their file, and you go, oh my God, the horror that you've inflicted.
But nobody got that vibe off of Kemper.
Nobody got the vibe off Kemper.
No, even the police, they didn't get that vibe. They were afraid of him, or I should say they were intimidated by him because of his size. After he killed his mother and her friend, he got in his car, he drove to Pueblo, Colorado, I believe it was Pueblo, and he picked up the phone and called the Santa Cruz Police Department. Mm-hmm. And the first time he called, they were like, it's a Friday night, we're really busy. The detective you want to talk to doesn't work weekends, you need to call back on Monday. And hung up on him. He's like, really? So he calls back and he goes, I have information for you on those hitchhikers that have been killed or co-eds that have been killed. And he confesses. And local police show up at the phone booth where he called from, and he takes up the entire phone booth. And they're really intimidated. But they managed to get him in without incident. Now, I don't know how much of it is Hollywood, but watching Mindhunters, he helped the FBI quite a bit in their process of developing
No, go ahead, keep going.
criminal profiling.
Yes, he did. When they were creating criminal profiling from a nothing into a science.
Right, and they interviewed Kemper extensively. Yes, what do you have to say?
We know too much about this stuff.
My mind gets on something and it just... But there's reasons why we know. I watch the TV shows. You have worked in that field. We're not serial killers. We're not rage killers.
Don't call anybody.
Yeah.
Chad's in danger. I'm okay.
Soggy Bottom's in danger.
See, now, as a I hope we may be sharing too much on YouTube. But, as a regular person, somebody said something to me. So once you've been through things in your life and really bad people have affected you negatively, and there's that overwhelming sense of revenge. And a very good friend of mine pulled me aside. He says, you know what? Forget about suing. Forget about all that stuff. Declare yourself the winner and move on with your life. They have to live with themselves. Mm-hmm. They're the ones who are going to get spit on their burger because they're such nasty people no matter where they go. Go be happy. Just blow it off. Just go be happy. That's the difference between regular people and serial killers. You know what? I wonder what a brain tastes like. When you think that, please immediately go get help.
Right.
Gee, I wonder what it'd be like if I shot somebody with a cannon.
Yeah.
Go get help.
If you have the urge, an overwhelming urge to kill someone or people, go get help.
Go get help. Just say it out loud.
Yeah.
Because even if you haven't done it yet, someone will go, you know what? Thank you for coming. But then you hear on the news where these people have been arrested 90 times. And they've gone out and they've told police, oh, look. Oh, they're on a FBI watch list and all that stuff, but they still do terrible things.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
Next time anybody ever comes up to you and goes, I'd like to make a necklace out of fingers.
Out of anchors?
Fingers.
Oh, fingers? Yeah. Or lampshades out of skin?
Maybe call somebody yourself too. Just to...
Yeah. If you start having urges to go live in the woods in a cabin that's isolated, but you have to get rid of the people that own the cabin.
Maybe talk to a realtor.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we're talking about these horrible people, now I've actually met a couple of monsters, and you've seen. I had this wonderful young man who would dress as Santa Claus and then go rob banks, and as he was walking out of a bank, he put his pistol up to a woman who was coming in the bank. He put it right up against her forehead and squeezed the trigger. Thank God he didn't know how to clean a gun. She lived by the grace of God. Because of this knothead.
Right.
Didn't know what he was doing. And when the FBI finally caught up with him, and they got him all arrested, and he went to prison for the rest of his life, oddly enough, because the guy who worked at a grocery store, when he was robbed, he swept all the cash, and then he swept in a bunch of postage stamps. That's robbing of a bank, or not a bank, but a post office, like 80 years. And you just sit back and go... That's brilliant, dude. Way to go. You've gotten this guy off the street for the rest of his life with 4 books of stamps.
Yeah. But if you're in a position where you work at a convenience store, grocery store, bank, gas station, somebody comes in to rob you, don't sacrifice your life to keep them from getting what they want. I'm just going to say that.
It's insured. But the moment you determine that, I'm dead, all bets are off. So if you're standing behind the counter and the guy squeezes off around and misses you, run, attack, do whatever you can.
Dive and roll.
Dive and roll. We're not experts in any way, shape, or form on what will be right.
No.
Because every situation is completely wrong. That's why looking at these things are so very interesting, like on Mr. Kemper. Mm-hmm. What if one thing would have changed? What if somebody would have listened to him? What if he would have done this? What if he would have done that? And
what if when he went down to live with his father, because his parents were divorced, he finds his father in Southern California. He's like, "Hi, I'm here. I'm gonna come live with you." Well, he was married, had another family, and he just totally rejected Ed. Would that have changed his life if his father had taken him in lovingly?
Because you can second guess everything, and it all be completely wrong. That's why, being critical of others. We watch a show and you go, "Well, that guy was dumb. He should have done this." It doesn't matter. Because of all the thousands of things that can happen or could have happened, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Yeah, nobody's an expert.
Right.
So anybody who goes, yeah. And I'm just going to say this as an example. I liked She-Hulk.
Good for you. I like comic book She-Hulk. I don't like the TV show She-Hulk. I like the comic book.
They try. Now, what's going to be funny is no one's going to care that we talk about serial killers. People are going to be really mad at us for the She-Hulk comment. Oh, they're monsters! Now call the cops.
Or you can call the cops because I'm going to slowly destroy his brain. So, sweetheart.
What do you mean, start?
When it comes to Doctor Who, what's more important? The sonic screwdriver or the TARDIS?
Dad, you did it. Son of a...
I just destroy his brain a little bit every day with these.
I'm going to be up all night with that. You know, I was looking forward to a positive day. Maybe do some arts and crafts. You know, no. I'm going to be staring at a wall all day. Well, hey. I'm going to go sit and cry somewhere. Was there anything else you wanted to finish up with, Mr. Kemper and the crazies?
No, I just said he is really evil. Even though he did some useful and positive things, he was evil. And I have to say, okay, my empathy aside, because I did empathize with him because of his height, because of the way he was treated. He was evil. I mean, he's just as evil as Bundy, Alcala, Ramirez. He's...
You know, I hope we're not getting more of them. I hope there's just more coverage of what has happened in the world. I hope that's all it is.
I mean, I would say we had a nice, quiet life growing up in Idaho Falls, but I remember when I was a senior in high school is when the guy that killed the teacher and
put her head in a basket.
So there was a serial killer, and I don't think he's considered a serial killer because he killed 6 people.
More fruits than cereals. Yeah.
Right. He killed like 5 people within like 3 days.
Yeah.
Did awful, horrible things to the bodies. And this was a quiet town that people didn't lock their doors. Well, after he started his killing spree, I mean, everybody was locking their doors. I worked at the mall. I was told I was not to walk to my car after work by myself, which actually worked out because the manager and the assistant manager of the pizza place I worked with were men. They were big men. Well, one of them was a big man. And they were more than willing to walk me to my car. No problem.
Now, was that to protect you or others?
To protect me.
Oh, okay.
They don't... The way I had to dress, they didn't have to protect people from me.
That's where I met her. We're working at the pizza place.
But... And it's driving me crazy that I can't think of the guy's name. I mean, he's no longer breathing our air. He was finally executed.
Well, maybe it's a good thing that we can't remember him.
Yeah.
That way we're not making him famous.
Right.
And he's just going to evaporate with the ugly, and it'll go away out of our collective subconscious.
Right. And he was so unknown that when I went to Boise State like a year later, and I was taking a criminology class, the professor who ended up being the head of the criminology department at Boise State, he had no idea what I was talking about, which surprised me because in Southeast Idaho, it was like huge news. But yeah, we don't want to remember these people, whether it's fondly, nastily. I mean, we have enough bad people out there that are so into the pop culture lexicon, like Marilyn Manson, or Charles Manson. Sorry, not Marilyn Manson. I'm sorry. I like his music too.
Jeez.
Sorry, Marilyn. Don't come after me. That was a slip of the tongue. I meant Charles.
No. Okay. Charles.
You know, so you have the Manson family. You have all these awful people, and just be careful. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Do not hitchhike. Do not talk to strangers.
So when you go to McDonald's, you just stare at the lady blankly.
No, you can tell her what you want. Maybe that's why they're going to the kiosks, where you just punch in what you want and then you go up to the counter.
See? Not the $15 thing.
No.
No, it's okay. Don't talk to strangers.
Yeah. Our parents were right when they told us not to talk to strangers.
And, of course, being a young, smart aleck, my comment was, so I'll never meet a girl? They went, no, don't. Just stay home. It's so much safer.
But you weren't a stranger because I met you through my best friend.
Well, you gave me free cannoli.
After I met you.
You got any girl that gives you a free cannoli.
So.
Some Cioppino, big jug. Oh, she'd give me that big jug of Cioppino.
So, that's what we have to say today on Ed Kemper. We love you all. Like, subscribe, share, comment. And again, once we get to 100 subscribers, we are going to do a live Q&A.
So save your ridicule and abuse for then, and then we'll all have a good time.
So, cheers.
Hey, cheers from Texas.
Have a great day.
Nice seeing you again.
Bye.